right, welcome to Research Debrief, the podcast that bridges the gap between the fitness industry and the latest science. Welcome, Luke. Great to see you.
Rachel, great to see you.
Well, what's the topic of discussion for today?
Brand new paper just published in the Journal of Political Economy. The paper is titled Exercise Improves Academic Performance. This is going to be the primary paper that I want to discuss today. We're also going to look at a meta-analysis that was published just about a year and a half ago on a similar topic with just a different age group. Now, the reason this topic is so incredibly important is I think as operators and leaders in this industry, it's important that we understand the benefits of exercise. Now, that sounds like such a bizarre statement. Yes, we all understand that exercise is good for us, but my controversial thesis for years has been operators in our industry actually generally don't know what the benefits are. We know that exercise is good for us, but when I talk to so many brilliant leaders and operators in our industry, if I went really specific on the different categories of these benefits, we're largely not up to speed on what the benefits are. And of course, the good news is the benefits are so much robust than any of us actually predict. I'm going to argue that most operators not only don't know what the benefits are, I know that's a controversial statement, but most operators underestimate the benefits of exercise. What we do, what our facilities offer is so much more profound than most of us expect. This paper is part of that. So if I can dive in, Rachel, this is a paper that looks at academic performance in college-age students when they start exercising in a fitness facility regularly. So I'm going to give it their introduction. Physical activity may also be important for academic performance through enhanced psychological health, habit formation, and changes in the brain, supporting cognitive function and learning. That's a part of their introduction. In this paper, we report the results of a large randomized control trial that removed a barrier to exercise by providing free gym cards to university students, and this is a city in Norway. We measured the effect of this intervention on the students' academic performance relative to a control group that was not offered a free gym card. So what they essentially did is they had 400 people in the study, and they have half of them work out in a gym, half of them not work out, and then they compare the academic performance. Actually, let me restate that. They have 400 students work out, and they have another approximately 400 as a control group that doesn't work out. So the sample size here is pretty large. So let's jump right into what the conclusions suggest. We find that the treated students, so the treatment group again is the group that goes to the gym, they have free access to a gym. We find that the treated students completed on average 0.15 standard deviations more courses than students in the control group, which is driven by them dropping fewer classes and failing fewer exams. I'm going to move forward. We provide two sets of evidence on the mechanism driving the effect of exercise on academic performance. First, we show that the intervention has strong positive effects on perceived self-control and lifestyle, which are well known to be important dimensions for learning. Second, a pre-specified heterogeneity, analysis of the treatment effect based on whether the students are below the median in terms of perceived self-control, lifestyle, happiness, and study hours shows that there are consistently very strong treatment effects on academic performance for those who struggle in these dimensions at baseline. They conclude, evidence suggests that our intervention is a powerful tool for human capital accumulation by causing positive changes in self-control and lifestyle that ultimately lead to an improvement in academic performance. Now, that's early on in the paper. I'm going to jump toward the end of the paper where they give, I think, a more succinct summary. Correlational evidence and folk expressions such as a healthy mind and a healthy body, which we've all heard of. There is no convincing causal evidence of this effect. We provide the first pre-registered, large-scale, randomized control trial of the relationship between physical activity and academic performance, combining high-quality administrative data on both gym exercise and academic performance and self-reported data on lifestyle measures, well-being, and perceived self-control. So we say things like, yes, healthy mind and a healthy body. This is a randomized control trial that says if you exercise in a gym, your academic performance is going to improve. Now, phenomenal paper, really, really interesting, just published. And one of the reasons I think this is so important is no one ever talks about it. I have never talked to an operator that says, well, the main reason I'm having my children engage in exercise is I want them to perform better in school. We have more scientific evidence that says that's efficacious than your high school child who's a soccer player or a football player would improve, in soccer or football performance. So let me go back to a paper that was published about 1.5 years ago. Now, the paper we just mentioned is a randomized control trial, a really significant methodology. The paper from 1.5 years ago was published in the journal Sports Medicine, and it's a systematic review and meta-analysis. The paper is titled Effects of Resistance Training on Academic Outcomes in School-Age Youth. So again, it's exercise. This paper happened to be just resistance training. The first paper we mentioned is exercising in a gym as a whole. This paper focused on 6-year-olds up to 18-year-olds, so first grade all the way up through high school. And they conclude, this review provides preliminary evidence that resistance training may improve, number 1, cognitive function, number 2, academic performance, and number 3, on-task behaviors in school-age youth. So all 3 of those are different. Cognitive function is IQ. Academic performance is I was earning B's and now I'm earning A's. And on-task behaviors means as a 10-year-old, am I paying attention, to my teacher in school? So I just wanted to bring this paper into play also because it's along the same thesis. It turns out that us exercising is really good for academic performance. We've now covered 6-year-olds to 18-year-olds, and in this current paper that we started with is college-age students. So we have a pretty good body of research that says from 6 years of age up to 22 or 23 years of age, one of the primary reasons we should consider engaging in exercise is we can improve our academic performance. Now, I'm going to say it again. I think the reason this is so important is we generally haven't looked at this as a primary benefit of exercise. I think we've focused on so many other benefits of exercise that are less important. The way that I like to state that is, I think there's a more important why that should underpin our exercise. Hey, why are you working out? If you're a 21-year-old college student, you have a compelling reason, you have a compelling why. Well, I go to the gym on a regular basis because I want to perform well academically. And of course, this recent paper suggests just that. And I'd like to mention that the paper says they are exercising in a gym. They're not increasing their step count. They are not doing push-ups in their dorm room. They are physically going to a gym. Just wanted to make sure that we mentioned that.
Yeah, but no, like you said, I think the conversation's very important because oftentimes, in the past at least, we've talked a lot about exercising for vanity reasons, whether that's losing weight or just your physical appearance. And as we've covered in previous episodes, exercise is positively impacting your mental health. It's impacting your longevity. It's impacting your overall health outcomes, whether that's, high blood pressure, what have you, and now academic performance. So, wow, what a compelling case study for exercise in gyms.
Yeah, Rachel, I've generally simplified it as we've looked at exercise as health protective benefits, and that's absolutely true. And then we looked at exercise as performance benefits, and performance benefits have generally been performance related to sports, right? Athletic endeavors. Well, now we have a significant body of research that says performance could be academic performance. And so club operators can take this and run with it, but we got to get the message out, right? I talk to people every day about exercise, and I've yet to talk to a parent that understands that their child exercising regularly is connected to academic performance.
Yeah, and great opportunity in particular for gyms that do have family memberships or amenities that are for the entire family. That this is something that they in particular can be talking about and bringing more families and kids into their facilities.
Absolutely, Rachel. And the messaging there is not just exercise and being active is great for kids. It's exercise and being active is great for academic performance in kids, right? That's a really important message that I think has largely been underappreciated.